The rest of the time, we'll be coming around and working with you individually on the 2D lenticular abstracts. Okay, so I've been asking everyone to assemble print screens or screenshots of your work, right? And so your laptop most likely has a print screen button. So that's all I'll hit here is my print screen button. So that took a snapshot of the overall display, as you guys know. So then if I go into Photoshop, and this is similar to the image that I copied to the clipboard that I showed on Tuesday, this will do the same thing in terms of automatically sizing a new file to the image that's on the clipboard. So if I go into Photoshop, into New, that setup should be the same size as, and it looks like the resolution of the screen. So I'll say OK, and then I can just hit Control V, and it fits there perfectly, right? So then from this I can just go right into File and then save it as a PDF. So I'll walk through this, throw it on the desktop. PDF, where is it? There it is. Okay. All right, so that finished writing. Then I have my untitled here. Okay, so then within Acrobat Pro, I can click this icon, and this is going to give me the thumbnails for all the pages that are in that PDF file. So basically, this first image or the first PDF image file that you create is the only one you really need to work in Photoshop with. It might get a little different with file sizes and so forth, but this is a pretty quick way to get through it. So I just pushed it on the side here, and I have the thumbnails up, and it's important to have that. Then all I can, what's easy to do is I can take an image file, like a JPEG. I've only really tried it with JPEGs. I'm assuming it would work with a PNG file or some other image files. But I could just take these image files and drag them right into the thumbnail area, and it's going to input it into that file as another page automatically. So if you have other JPEGs or what have you that you're using, you can just continue to add them accordingly. Looks like this, what's this one? It's a PNG, let's try PNG. PNG worked as well. So then automatically I have multiple pages here. And then I can just save this as the PDF, or just save it and it'll rewrite the single page file. Now, depending on the size, I may need to have this be smaller, right? These digital uploads that I'm having you do are just for on screen, so they don't need to be print quality or anything else. And I'm not quite sure what the resolution of those other images are, but I know I can reduce them if I print this PDF as a PDF. So if I run it through the print driver, I have a little bit more control in terms of the quality of the image. So I'll go into print. It's set as a PDF, and if I click advanced, wait, it's page setup, sorry. That's not it either. Where are my settings? Properties. There, properties. And this is a setting that you can get to from any program. So this is basically the print driver for creating a PDF. So whether it's out of Word or Illustrator, what have you, have these same controls. And so right now the default is set as standard. If you want to print it out, but you still want it to be somewhat compressed, I can select high quality, There are CMYK settings here. But for what you're doing in terms of on-screen display, the smallest file size would be the selection that you want. And you can get in and really start to fine-tune the quality and the compression of the images. And at times I've had to do that to get to a certain file size. I'm not going to necessarily get into that level of detail, but in general, you're able to make some modification there. So I'll click OK, and then print. There it is. I'm just going to call this A. And then it's processing and outputting that. So we can see the image quality it's enough to be able to read it on screen. We get the idea of what's going on with the images and so forth, but it's not a huge file size. We could compare the file sizes quick. Where's one? Where did it go? There's one. I don't see 1A.
You saved it onto like.
Oh, I saved it somewhere else?
Yeah, you can save it on desktop.
Oops, some middles. I don't want that. Well, I messed up my submittals, but. Okay, so there's 1A. You can see here the properties. This was a 6 meg file. This one I just printed is half a meg, and it's still legible. The other thing that you can try to do, although I don't have as much success with this approach, is that you can save this PDF as a reduced size PDF, but it doesn't always really compress it as much as I would like. A lot of times the PDF files also have layers within them, so for example, if you've been working with it in Photoshop, it'll maintain those layers, so if you open it back up in Photoshop, those layers are present, and that's what starts to have the file size be bigger than you would like in terms of like a submittal like I'm asking you to work with. And this doesn't always get rid of that. So printing, running it through the printer driver usually squeezes out all those layers because it's meant just to be a simple image output. Okay. The other thing I just wanted to take care of it, if you guys had any questions as you've been going through using Illustrator and Photoshop for the current exercise, if there are any overall questions that you have about using the software or about the exercise itself.